Shavua Tov, Gut Woch, Gut Chodesh, and welcome to our program. Shabbos morning, we're at the Parsha of Mishpotim, and Shabbos to Mincha, we started the Parsha of Terumo, and it's a new Parsha and a new month, the month of Adar. And since it is the beginning of Parshas Terumo and the month of Adar, they have to have a connection. What is the connection between Parshas Terumo and the month of Adar? The Rebbe finds that connection, and he says that in the Parsha we are dealing about the concept of body, of health, of a person being healthy, and the month is a month that is healthy. The entire month of Adar is a month of health, a month that is called body. We will return to the details in a moment, but first, our customary story. I heard the story from an individual who was part of the story. He was a limousine driver, and he had a steady customer, a man of means, who would call him very often. And once he noticed that this individual is in a very sad mood. He saw it one day, he saw it another day. So he asked him, and the man didn't want to say, but he asked him again, maybe I can help you. And then he told him that he's not a religious man. However, the situation is that his son wants to marry a non-Jewish person. And that troubles him, because it's not good for him, it's not good for her. That troubles him. And this is why he's sad. This driver says to him, the year was 1980. You were able to go in to see the Rebbe at Yechidus, have a private audience with the Rebbe. Why don't you go in and see the Rebbe? I will help you get the private audience with the Rebbe. And he did. He registered him, and he got him an appointment to go to see the Rebbe at Yechidus. He went in to see the Rebbe, and he told the Rebbe the story. So the Rebbe says to him, bring your son here. He brought his son. And the Rebbe listened to the son, and then the Rebbe says to the son, ask her to give you a drink of cold water. They walked out of Yechidus, and this individual turns to the driver, to my friend who told me the story, and says to him, what's this? I thought that I was going to give a blessing, that I was going to say a prayer, something rabbinic. What did the Rebbe say? Ask for a glass of water. And what's that going to help? Did you ever hear that if there's a question of intermarriage, you ask for a glass of water? What does that mean? And he had questions. And the limo driver says to him, listen, you went to see the Rebbe. And the Rebbe said to your son, ask her for a glass of cold water. So there is something there. There's something there that we do not understand. But if the Rebbe said that, that means that is the answer to our problem. So therefore, the best thing for you to do is to do exactly what the Rebbe told you. Okay, he listened. They were once at a party in her house. Her family was there, and he was also invited. During the party, he walks over to her, and he says to her, can you give me a glass of cold water? And she said, of course. And she takes a bottle of seltzer, and she opens it. As she opens the bottle of seltzer, there's gas in the bottle, and the water came up with a force, landed on her face. She had and it destroyed the makeup that she had on her face. The makeup on her face started running, and she kind of lost herself, and she started screaming at him, "Who needs you?" She says something, "You're a dirty Jew," and then she cursed him. Needless to say, that this was the end of the relationship. It is then that the father and the son understood what the Rebbe said: ask her for a glass of cold water. As mentioned, I heard a story from the limo driver who gave this advice to the man who was riding with him for a while. Rabbi say, concerning this question, and the question we had, it's Shabbos is the week of Parshas Terumo, and it says Chedesh Adar. Where do we find that the week of Parshas Terumo and the Chedesh Adar, what do they have in common? And the Rebbe asks this question. Not only the Rebbe asks this question, the Rebbe brings up this concept concerning the month of Adar. And the Rebbe brings the Gemara, Mishenichnas Adar Marbin Besimcha. It's interesting. It's a Gemara in Tainis, Daf Chavtes. So let us open up the Gemara in Tainis, and let's see what the Gemara says. Mentioned before, it's the Gemara in Tainis, Chavtes. If we can find it. Here is the Gemara. Omar Rav Yehuda Berei Rav Shmuel Bar Shilas Mishmei Rav. Rav Yehuda, the son of Rav Shmuel Bar Shilas, said on behalf of Rav, just like when the month of Av comes in, we diminish in simcha, in joy. Kach, by the same token, Mishenichnas Adar Marbin Besimcha. When the month of Adar comes in, then we add in simcha. Simcha, of course, is joy. Amar Rav Papa. Rav Papa says, Hilkach, therefore, Badi Yisrael the Isle Dino Bahadei Nochri. If a Jewish man has a court case, Bahadei Nochri, with a Nochri, with a person that is not Jewish, Lishtamet Minei Be'ov, he should try and push it off. There should not be in the month of Ov. Why? Dereya Mazlei, that his muzzle in Ov is not going to be good. V'limtzei nafshei be'odar, and he should find himself to do the court case in the month of Adar, the body mazlei, because the body mazlei, his muzzle is going to be body. Body means it is going to be healthy. That is what the Gemara says. Now, we already have the concept that Adar is the mazlei, his muzzle, his body is healthy. With that, we have the connection with the week of Parshas Terumo. As the Rebbe brings, I believe the Rebbe brings it from the brother of the Maral Miplog, that Moshe Rabbeinu started the Mishkan, and he started with a building campaign. This idea is brought here in order to find a connection with the month of Adar. And what did he ask? For Kesef, Zov, and Cheshes, among other things. And the brother of the Maral Miplog says, Zohov, what does Zohov mean? The gold donor, Zehanesin body. This is the connection to our parsha, to the month of Adar. Zehanesin body. The one who gives is healthy. which means this is a healthy person, and there is no real reason for him now to give tzedakah. He doesn't need it for his health. He's a healthy person. Nevertheless, he's giving it. So therefore, that is a special mitzvah. That is the gold donor. And then there is the silver donor, kesef. Kesef stands for kesheyesh sakonas pachad, when there is a danger of fear. So now he has a reason. He's fearing something, whether he's fearing a health issue or another issue. So he is giving the contribution to the Mishkan or to any Jewish institution because he feels a certain fear. And that is the silver donor. And then there's the bronze donor. The Cheshes Adar Nesinas Chele She'omadatnu. The sinas, which means the contribution of a chele, of a person who is not well, she'omaltnu, who said, give part of my money to this and this individual, to this and this institution. And that is already the bronze donor, because he's not well. He's already in a condition that he himself cannot give it, because he's too weak. So he says to the people in his household, they should give it on his behalf. These are the three categories. And you see that the world took off on the gold and on the silver and on the bronze in more than one way, which we don't really care to discuss, but these are the three categories. Now, so we are dealing here with the gold donor, Ze Hanisin Boli. He is healthy, and he only gives because he feels that this is the right way to do. What does the Gemara say? That he should push it off to the month of Adar, the Boli Mazle, because his muzzle is healthy. That is the Gemara in Tainis, as we mentioned, Chavtes Amud Aleph, and also Chavtes Amud Beis. Now the Rebbe asks a question that it's not simple. Boli Mazle means that his muzzle is healthy, which automatically means that he has a muzzle, and the muzzle is healthy. Says the Rebbe. Let's open up the Gemara to Shabbos, Kuf Nun Vav Amud Aleph, and let's see. There the Gemara says, Rabbi Yechanan says, Ein Mazel LeYisrael. That this whole idea of muzzle, whether you're going to translate it as luck, as some say, sign, zodiac, whatever, Ein Mazel LeYisrael, Jews are not governed by that. And he brings a posuk in Yirmiyah, where the posuk says, Me'esis hashomayim al teichatu. Ki amar Hashem, this is what Almighty God said, that you should not be likened to all nations, and you should not fear the signs of the heavens. Yichatu ageyim mehemo. Let the nations fear those signs, but you do not have to fear those signs. So what we see over here, that the Gemara says, Ein Mazel LeYisrael, that we don't have to fear that. So it's not pshat that we do not have the muzzle, or that we do not have muzzle. That's not the pshat in Gemara. But we see here it says that we are not governed by the muzzle. Yichatu agoyim mehemo. The nations, let them fear the muzzle, but we should not fear the muzzle. And there's a small Tosfos on the side. Tosfos starts, Dibur HaMaschil, Ein Mazal LeYisrael. And Tosfos says, and the fact that Rove says at the end of Meir Kotten, Bone means children. If a person has children, Chaya means life. Mezena means sustenance. Everything a person wants to have. This does not depend on the merit of the person, the schus, elo b'mazle, on the luck of the person. B'mazle talia milse. Nevertheless, mikol mokem al yedei schus godel mishtane. Nevertheless, Tesva says, through a great schus, a person can change the muzzle. That even if, for whatever reason, the muzzle is not in a way that is beneficial to this individual, then he can change it through a big schus of tefillah and so on. So the Rebbe explains, what does this mean? The Rebbe explains that it says over here in Mazal Yisrael that a Jew is not governed by the muzzle, and sometimes the muzzle is not in his favor, so he can change it. He can change it through tefillah, then he needs another power to change the muzzle. Nevertheless, what's the story with the month of Adar? The month of Adar is that Boli Masle, from the start, this is all the other months. On the month of Adar, from the very start, the month of Adar has a Boli Masle, has a healthy muzzle. And the month of Adar doesn't even have to do that, because the month of Adar itself has a healthy muzzle. And it's not only, and it's taken from the Megillah, it says V'achedesh. So we're not only talking about the day of Purim and the day of Shushan Purim, we're talking about an entire month. The entire month is Boli Masle. With this, the Rebbe also explains that when we see the Gemara, and the Gemara says, Keshem shemenichnas ov memaatin besimcha, kach mishenichnas oder malbin besimcha. Just like when the month of Ov comes in, we are diminishing simcha. By the same token, when the month of Adar comes in, we are malbin besimcha. And there are a few questions to that, and they are obvious. First of all, it seems that the month of Adar, the Malbin Besimcha, we make such a big to-do, so to speak, Mishanichnas Adar Malbin Besimcha, it's almost like an afterthought. Just like Ov, you have to be Memayet, so because of that you have to be Malbin Ov, in Adar. This is not putting the month of Ov in a very respectful position. It only the month of Adar. It only follows because of the month of Ov. It does not give it the importance that we would think the month of Ov deserves. And the Rebbe says something here, that the reason the Gemara says it this way is because Gemara wants to indicate something that is not said, but we should understand. That the month of Adar has the power to change the month of Ov. Look what the Rebbe says inside. As the miut hasimcha b'chedesh Ov, the diminishing of the simcha in the month of Ov, geht allein in demselben Teichen von Riboy hasimcha b'chedesh Adar. That comes into the same content of Riboy hasimcha, of adding simcha in the month of Adar. And here the Rebbe says clearly, what is the inner purpose of diminishing the simcha in the month of Ov is nor bichdem is aldos mehaper sein mechashecha lehero memiriru lemisku. And the only reason that we diminishing the simcha in the month of Ov is in order that we should transform the month of Ov from bitterness to sweet. And therefore, und das wird aufgetan durch den Malbin besimcha und Boli Masle in Chedesh Adar. How do we change that in the month of Ov we should transform the darkness into light, the bitterness into sweetness? How do we do that? That in the month of Adar that comes before we are Malbin besimcha. Through this, it's the other way around. And the Gemara is giving us the key how we transform the month of Ov, which is coming later, into Simcha. How do we do that? By having Simcha in the month of Adar. And because of that, the Rebbe says, we have an answer to another question. You know, we Jews answer one question with the other. They once asked a Jew, and he said, how come you Jews answer One questioned with the other, and he looked and he smiled and he said, and why not? So there's another question. This Gemara, Mishenichnas Oder Malbim Besimcha, belongs arguably in the Gemara Megillah, because that's when we're talking about Oder. We find it in Tainis, where we are talking about Tainis, when we're talking about fast days. How is this Maimel Chazal telling us about the greatness of the month of Oder? That in the month of Oder we should be Malbin Besimcha, we should add in Simcha. It's a Gemara Mesichta Tainis. It should have been a Gemara Mesichta Megillah. The answer is that that's exactly what the Gemara tells us. In order to transform the bitterness and the darkness of what's the key to that? The key to that is that when it comes to Oder, we are Malbim Besimcha, and through that we are transforming the darkness and the bitterness of also to Simcha. And that's it. That is what the Gemara wants to tell us. Moreover, we are talking here about every Jew. And every Jew is in the Darga of Zahov, Zehanesim Boli. This is the Jew. Every Jew is in the Darga of Zahov. Now here we're dealing with someone who has to do with a person of the world. And not only does he have to do with a person of the world, he has a court case with him, which means he had a dealing with him, he had an argument with him, they didn't get along. And the question is, how did you get to that? So the Rebbe says, what does the Gemara tell us? That even when we're dealing about such a Jew, that he has a dealing with someone else, and not only does he have a dealing with him, he has an argument that they don't get along and they take each other to court. Even that kind of person, Oder means Boli Masli, without any question. We're not questioning him. We're not passing judgment over him. We are just saying a statement. Boli Masli, we cannot do it in Oder. Boli Masli, your Masli is going to be good. So this is the teaching to each and every single person. And Chassidim already said, Mishenichnas Ov Mema'ati. When Ov comes in, Mema'atin, you are Memayet. The matters of Ov, how? Besimcha, with Simcha. With Simcha, you are Memayet all the matters of Ov. And especially when we are now entering the month of Oder, Boli Masli, on each and every single Jew. And the Rebbe stresses that each and every single Jew is in the category of Zohov, Zehanesin Boli, each and every Jew. Zohov, every Jew is in the category of Zohov. Everyone. So therefore, because it says in the Pasuk, V'achedesh on everyone. So this is the right month that everything that every Jew is going to do throughout the world, he will do it besimcha, and he will not only succeed, he is going to transform everything that is negative into simcha, into positive, and laihuda ma'israelo v'simcha v'sosim v'kol. And Rabbi say a Jew has the right to say that this is every year, but especially this year, after the Jewish people have gone through a year from last year Purim till now, a year that should not should be only simchas. So now we say the Ben Shalom, what we want is Masli, Boli Masli, a healthy mazel for each and every single Jew throughout the world. Zehanesin, Boli, Gesundheit, und Freilichkeit, in everything that a Jew should have, nachas in everything he does. And it says, Bebone Chaya Zene. Bone means children, and nachas from children, and sheduchim from children, and children from children. Chaya means life and the extension of life, health. Zene means, of course, means sustenance, and the Rebbe always said leviche, that it should be in a broad fashion, over kulam leviche, on bonde leviche, on chaya leviche, on zene leviche, and then again of kulam leviche, boli masli, in a very, very, very healthy and broad session. And every Shabbat Nacht, we say in our liturgy, we say in our Avdollah, every Shabbos Nacht. Has nothing to do with the Shabbos Nacht in the month of Adar or in the time of Purim. Every Shabbos Nacht we say, Laihudim, Oiso'elo, V'simcha, V'sosim, V'kol, a pasuk straight out of the Megillah, every Shabbos Nacht. But then we add, Kain Tihiyeh Lonu. We add another 3 words, that this is exactly what we want. So we say, the Beinu Shalom, what we want, like Hudim, Oiseilo, V'simcha, V'sosim, V'kol, Kain Tihiyeh Lonu, to every Jew, Lonu ul Chol Yisrael. And what is the real Eilo and the real Simcha, the real Sosin, the real Yekol, when we are going to see Him Yel Tashem with our very, very own eyes, that it's going to be the real Geula Ho'amitis V'Yashlemo. Even before the Geula Spulim will be the Geula Ho'amitis V'Yashlemo. U'ba'agolo Didan, u'v'simcha, u'v'tuv Livov, u'v'tev Hanile V'Anigle, u'lemato Me'asodot Fochim, u'v'chesed, u'v'lachamim. And take if umiyad mamesh.